And you're very welcome back to another podcast delivered to you by WeddingSuppliers.ie, where you can find Ireland's largest list of wedding venues and wedding suppliers. You can also plan your wedding end to end. Today we are in the beautiful Barberstown Castle in Straffan, County Kildare, and I am here to chat with Raina, who is the wedding manager. Hey Raina.
Hi Colin, how are you? Welcome back.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I love it here. Sure, I grew up in Straffan.
Yeah, you're a local.
My mother just lives right over there. If I ran across that field, I'm right there.
We'll have to go in for a cup of tea after.
I know, she came. I haven't told her I'm here today, so don't say anything. So look, Barberstown Castle, we've so much to talk about in this podcast. There's so many beautiful features, and it's come on, it just keeps on developing and developing and developing. Can we start off talking a little bit about the history, because it is a castle, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
how far do we go back?
We go back to 1288, so it's 13th century, the original castle. So a huge pillar in the local community of Straffan back then, and it was slowly extended on in the years. So we have different periods throughout our hotel. We have an Elizabethan period, we have a Georgian period, and then we have a more modern period, as well as our 16th century banquet hall, which we're in now, where we host all our lovely weddings.
And I think it's very important to kind of paint a picture for people, because I sometimes forget, like this podcast, you can see it on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you want to watch it, if you want to sit down and watch it. But you can also listen to it on the fly. So for people listening to the podcast, can you kind of paint a picture on what Barberstown Castle is and the feeling of Barberstown Castle?
The banquet hall in Barberstown Castle is completely private and exclusive. It's adorned with, tapestries on the wall. There's mahogany features. We have suits of armour. We have family crests. We have, black slate tiles, old fireplaces roaring throughout the year.
Yeah.
So there's a real sense of a medieval aspect, but also a warm and welcoming tone brought together.
Yeah, it's a great description, because when you do walk in here, it's like you've walked back in time.
Yes.
Isn't that the best
It
way
is, yes.
to describe it?
But it also has everything what a modern hotel offers as well, such as your luxury accommodation, your 4-poster beds, all your facilities, your private bars and drinks receptions.
Yeah, which is just and putting them both together, like, excuse the pun, it's like a marriage made in heaven.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's very special.
And do you see many because this is like being in Kildare and being in Leinster. Do you see many local people coming here? We
would, yeah. I suppose, you will very well say that there's a lot of competition around, but there's nothing quite like Barberstown.
No.
Nothing has the history that we have. Nothing has the stories that we can tell. And if we've been hosting weddings since 1288, I think we do it quite well.
Yeah, God, they're all well dead.
Centuries of celebrations, so.
Can I talk to you about the famous people? Because this castle was owned, when I was a young kid, Eric Clapton.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
He owned it for 8 years, and he very kindly left one of his signed guitars with us, which is hanging in the garden bar.
Guitar? Where is it? It's hanging in the bar.
It's locked.
Must be like 4 locks to get at that thing. My God.
As well as, when he was here, there was an array of famous people that came and stayed and partied late into the night, such as David Beckham and Victoria. The Spice Girls were here. Lord Dunsany from Dunsany Castle as well. So lots of stories.
And Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Rolling Stones.
Sean Connery. The list is endless.
And was that really a draw when Eric Clapton really kind of had it?
It was a private home by then.
Yeah.
So it was his residence that he enjoyed for many years, 8 years in total, and then it was bought, it was sold from him then and converted into a hotel.
Correct, yeah. So we're in the main banqueting suite here, and obviously this part that we're in, this is an extension that was built back in the 2000s to accommodate then for more
weddings,
guests.
Yeah.
So how many people can you seat?
We kind of start at 60 and our capacity will be 220.
Okay, so you don't take any weddings under 60, so that's your kind of general intimate wedding.
Yeah.
And being a castle, would you see a lot of influx of American couples?
We do, yes. I suppose they'd probably account for 30% of the weddings that we do, and they're fantastic celebrations because they're here for 3 days and they're in a different area of Barberstown every day.
Yeah.
So we could have welcome drinks in the Shepherd's Hut, their wedding here in the banquet hall, and their day 2 in the Haggard pub as well. Often with Americans, they'll do a classic rehearsal dinner the night before, which is in the Castle Keep, the original part. So it's stunning.
It's lovely. Yeah. And I remember many years ago being at a wedding here, and they had a bagpiper.
Yes.
I don't know if it's still this thing, But he was up here on the
on the
tower.
top of the tower, yeah.
Yeah. So is that still a kind of a thing that you would?
It's still completely accessible. It's a very old spiral staircase that goes all the way to the top. So often couples will go up there to get their photo on the day of their wedding. So.
Okay, well look, we've so many features, and look, the format of this podcast is kind of give people an insight of what Barberstown Castle is, and like we'll go off screen and we'll look at the bridal suite. So is there one bridal suite, or is there two offerings?
There's plenty.
Oh, okay,
so,
right.
It adds ease to have multiple suites to save couples moving the day after their wedding. So we have 2 bridal suites, and then we also have the Castle Presidential Suite, which is
good.
If you want to be the king and queen on the day of your wedding, it's the place to be.
Is that where you would recommend?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's the only bedroom in the original castle. It's 2 stories, and it's pure luxury from the moment you enter.
Okay, so just talk us through that, how that looks. So we get into this presidential suite, and it's 2 levels.
It's 2 levels. So you have a living room on the bottom floor, with seating and dining space, as well as a restroom, and then upstairs you have your 4-poster bed and large ensuite with his and her vanity, walk-in shower, think white marble, gold taps, you know.
It's everything.
It's
and
everything,
then obviously out looking onto your
completely private and no one else around you.
And how many guests can you accommodate? Because, you know, way back before weddings became kind of large, and you know, many years ago people would go home after weddings, but everybody stays now, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5.
No driving.
Right? Exactly, let's not go there, right? But so many people can actually stay on the grounds.
We have 59 bedrooms within the hotel and 2 garden lodges as well.
Okay, and then obviously you can kind of, if people have a kind of number of the 220 max, you can kind of give additional
we're so close to Maynooth, the town of Maynooth, and you know there's an array of taxi and shuttle services. We also have a Barberstown courtesy shuttle as well that can assist with local
That's
drop-offs.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So drop off, so you have your taxi service there. Okay, so the ceremony room, we all know, and we keep on going on about it, that the civil ceremony, the on-site ceremony now is almost just pretty much where everybody decides to go.
It probably accounts for 80% of our weddings here, and I think especially if people are, you know, on the fence whether they want a church service or a ceremony hosted within the property, and once they see our conservatory, it still gives that old, authentic vibe that people kind of are drawn to a church for, because you have, you know, the old black slate, you have a big beautiful fireplace as the background for your altar, and it's adorned with, you know, beautiful tapestries and big
and they've
candles.
kind of kept the whole castle feel in that, which is sometimes tricky for a hotel venue, although hotel venues are doing it very well and getting better at it, because we're only going through that transition now, really, aren't we, much so. And then of course you have the village of Straffan, where that has a beautiful church, which is right on the doorstep of Barberstown.
And again, shuttle services, taxi services, it's no problem.
It's no problem. I remember actually Adam Clayton I don't think they got married to Naomi Campbell, and we were all kids, and they were down looking at Straffan Church. They were due. Did they get married?
No, I don't think they did in the end. Let's skip over that.
I don't think it went ahead anyway. They didn't get married in Barberstown. It was all good luck. So the thing about Barberstown, and even coming in here today, and for reference, it's October now, right? But even in the summer, you guys have these fires lighting.
Yeah, have to have it.
And you would think, oh, it's too warm, but it's not. It's just the smell of that beautiful kind of fire and the wood being burnt. You know?
Really adds. The whole thing about Barberstown is the uniqueness of it.
Yes.
And it's something that you're not going to get in another hotel property. You have our fires, you know, you have candles everywhere. There's dried hops that's brought in from Wales along the banisters in the roof here.
Okay.
So, you know, when people
That's what I'm looking at.
Dried hops. When people walk in here, they're completely taken away by the warm welcome that they get, whether it's a physical warm welcome or just the sense in the room.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, and it's hard to get that on screen in the podcast, but even when I walked in, and even John here that's behind the scenes, both of us felt that warmness coming in, you know. So the day 1s, the day 2s, the day 3s, so all the additional features now that come with Barberstown Castle, like you spoke just off screen there about, you have a couple of pubs or so. How many pubs have you got on site? Or many areas, like if we just want to touch off the day 2 scene here, because it's a massive thing, and people want to have it in the venue.
Some people prefer it than the wedding day, to be honest.
Well, there's the stress isn't there, right?
Yes, you know, it's more relaxed. They take place in our Haggard, the pub. It's like, it's ideal. It's like a little shebeen. You have the old whitewash walls. You have more fires going, more candles going. You have a private courtyard as well there, and we do a pig on the spit, which is ideal at this time of year. You know, a real hearty meal, or a barbecue in the summer as well.
Yeah. And so you're kind of going authentic with that, and people get that sense of just they're still in the same area. So do people like kind of wake up the morning after the wedding and kind of go, right, let's head down to the pub here, and it all kicks off again?
Well, they tend to have a late breakfast first, and maybe a little nap, and then it kicks off again.
And curfew here, the normal times, you kind of go till 1:30.
Yeah, 1:30, 2 o'clock. Yeah.
And do you have the residence bar here in the banqueting
all down
suite?
here. This is all completely private for couples on their wedding day. It's an exclusive part of the hotel that we host for them. So
but you're kind of more or less private and exclusive ultimately, because when a full wedding comes in here, you know, you might have the odd guests, but you don't have two functions on.
No, we won't have a massive draw of leisure guests. No,
yes.
There's the 59 bedrooms, the 2 garden lodges, so over a 200-person wedding, that's all the accommodation sorted. So it would just be the garden bar as for our leisure guests, which is completely separate in the main hotel as opposed to here.
Bridal prep.
Yes.
It's a massive thing now.
Yes.
Tell us
Takes a lot of time.
Tell us about the bridal prep suite.
So we have the Lady Tyrconnell. It's a modular pod in our gardens. And in there you have a hair salon wash basin, you've got your hair and makeup vanities, a little private terrace attached to it. So some say, you know, on the day that, like today, for example, it's raining, we have the courtesy shuttle that drives them straight up. They don't have to worry about, you know, walking through wet grass or, you know, their hair blowing, anything like that. That's all taken care of. Yeah,
and so they just congregate there the morning of, and then they make their way right over here to the beautiful ceremony space.
The conservatory here,
Okay, so let's talk about the food, because what do we always hear? I should always say, it's always about the band, the great band, right? Great band. It's always, which it is, right?
Yes.
But the first thing becomes before all of that is the food.
Yes.
You know, you could be in any venue in the world, and if the food isn't good,
you'll remember it.
You'll remember that, right? And people are going to talk about it, but they'll equally talk about how good the food is.
Yes.
So just talk us through the kind of type of menus that you would deliver to a couple, or can you meet their kind of bespoke requirements?
Absolutely.
For food?
We hold our culinary team here in an extremely high regard. We have phenomenal menus. We're up for a significant award now very shortly, the Good Food Ireland Award.
Yeah, great.
By our excellent culinary team here. We have an array of canapes for people to choose from, you know, and it's anything from artisan sausage rolls to, you know, local crab meat and ginger on an edible spoon.
I'm starving.
I never lose weight working here. And our wedding menus are completely bespoke to every wedding, and there's a huge variety. I suppose the thing to point out about our culinary team is that whilst our wedding menus are delivered to such a high standard, we also do couples wedding cakes here.
Oh, okay.
So we would have never...
That's unique.
It's very unique, and we would have never have taken it on if we didn't believe in the team here that we have.
Okay.
Because it's your first task as husband and wife, you know, cutting your wedding cake together. So we make them upon request. We have an array. We can do an array of flavours, tiers, different designs, so it's a great option, and it takes one more thing away from the couple to have to worry about.
Yeah, it does. And couples now, they do, you know, I mean, even when I see them coming to WeddingSuppliers.ie, it's just they want all that in-house stuff.
Yes.
They want stuff filtered down, find exactly what they're looking for as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Because many years ago, obviously, technology has come so far, and we all know with the way our attention spans are now, we just want the delivery of something quick and easy access and stuff to happen. And is there a certain type of menu that you see that is most popular rather than your beef and salmon, you know? I mean, how much has that changed through
You're always going to have your beef and salmon, such as the famous racehorse.
I wanted to say that.
But, you know, I think people's tastes are kind of evolving in Ireland as well, that we're seeing, you know, our most popular starter would be a confit duck leg. Right, Our main course, we have lamb as a great option, you know, seasonal, of course, for spring. It's just divine. And then desserts, you have anything like this time of year, October, your apple and rhubarb crumble. A lot of it is grown in our polytunnel here as well. So it's all sustainable and locally sourced.
If I could ask you about that, and I mean, we do live in a world now where people are a little bit more conscious. It's not just, it can't be just always about the meat part. And on a vegetarian system or even vegan part
we have completely separate vegan and vegetarian menu that couples can choose from, and it's not going to be your wild mushroom risotto. It's
chickpea soup.
It's your it's a slow roasted butternut squash Wellington, and
very good,
very tasty.
Oh, I like that. We could talk about food all friggin' day, couldn't we? Okay, great. Every podcast we talk about the speeches. It's changing all the time. After meal, before meal, drinks reception now. I kind of say drinks reception, that's a no-brainer for your speeches. Everybody is still relatively sober.
Yes, and paying attention maybe.
And listening, So what would your take be? Preference? My
preference would either be, I think, during the drinks reception, because once people get in for dinner, they're hungry. They want to be fed. So speeches before dinner they can be 20 minutes or they can be 40 minutes, and that eats into service time and food prep and stuff like that. So either drinks reception or after dinner. I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect time for speeches that everybody is going to be in the room.
No, exactly. So even if they're in the banqueting hall, people can still be gone missing for a part.
So drinks reception is good because then it just allows the flow of the rest of the reception, and into dinner as well.
Yeah, and I agree with you before the dinner. And I know some people say we'd like to do it before dinner because we're nervous, we want to enjoy our dinner and stuff like that. But we, like you being in the kind of wedding business, or if you want to use business is the right word, but we've been so embedded in this for so long. You can see sometimes speeches could be too short sometimes. Or very, very long, and then the chefs are in there sweating with their fillets of steak going, I can't do this. So, I think after the meal.
I think drinks reception or after dinner.
Yeah, definitely.
It's ideal.
So, photographs on site. Tell us a little bit about your gardens.
We have 20 acres here in the castle grounds.
Wow.
As I mentioned earlier, there's the top of the castle keep, the tower there. We have a beautiful garden out on the back end of the property that's full of weeping willows. There's a lovely trail with big festoon lights. It's so romantic. It's so ideal. It's not seasonal, it's forever there.
It's
and then the money shot is to have this stand at the front, drive there, and have the whole castle in the background.
In the back, and can you go? Do couples ever use the access to the tower part?
They do, it's just weather permitting because it's quite old.
Yeah, it's quite
like
old.
Myself.
You don't want to be slipping down around there. Right, look, I mean, we've covered so much. Is there anything else here about Barberstown that I might have missed that you think
I think one important thing to point out is we're independently owned. We're not part of a massive franchise.
Yes.
And that's very visible in so many ways.
There's a bit of personality to it and a person behind.
We've personality coming out our ears here. The character, the warm welcome that guests received, even from the first greeting to the final farewell, it's all authentic and it's all full of character and personality here. That's not only the staff, but Barberstown and the team here. The wedding team is one department, but the team surrounding a day of a wedding is, your reception when your guests are checking in. It's the porters that are assisting with luggage for guests. There's the welcome of our food and beverage team. There's the culinary team. There's everyone that works together. And on the day of the wedding, it's all hands on deck. And we're all here solely for this wedding. Yeah,
and I do like the independence part. And I do like the whole kind of history of the castle. And obviously I'm going to talk it up, growing up around this. I remember when we were kids, we were walking up and say, someday we're going to own that castle.
It can still happen.
Look, Raina, on that, it was lovely to have you.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for coming onto the podcast.
My pleasure.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.